welcome dear learner once again to the NPTEL MOOC module on handling large scale data using Stata. In the previous lecture we discussed about questionnaire design and the understanding of a good questionnaire for Stata. As a researcher, we are here in this week trying to give you the prerequisites of understanding unit level data with Stata. So, now this particular lecture is targeted to understand the tabulation and creation of new variable in Stata window. Tabulation and creation tabulation and creation of new variables in Stata. So, now we are focusing on tables and tabulation in Stata. What do you mean by tables and what do you mean by tabulation? Okay. So, one of the most useful ways to look at a quick summary of data is actually by tabulating it. Stata offers a variety of ways to tabulate data. There are different ways. We have already clarified last lecture on different types of coding, replacing, then also some forms of other operations of Stata. Now we are like summarizing data we discussed, code book we discussed. Now I am focusing on difference between table and tabulate. Table and tabulate are such commands that helps in producing tables. The most basic table will show the variables and frequencies with each category. So, there are for the researcher they do require one way table, two way table, three way table, sometimes larger order tables as well, depending upon the kind of analysis they wanted to target. The tabulate or just tab or TA in short or table commands create tables of frequencies, but there is one difference in these commands. Table command only gives frequencies for different categories, while tabulate command produces percentages as well as cumulative percentages along with their respective frequencies. So, the command syntax here are tabulate or table. So, we are going to operate these two here as well. So, now let me start with a table here. I am just going to type you table, okay, table, table. Then I simply click on the variable, let it be sector. Okay. Now, this simply enter, it gives you what? Frequencies, only frequencies. Now, let us type TA or tabulate or tab, okay, instead of table, then with the same variable. Now, this gives different result, frequencies along with their percentages, respective percentages and cumulative percentages as well. Now, is not it interesting for you? Now, in this context, this is the data we opened for you is from the sample data from NSS 73rd round, that is on unorganized sector, unorganized enterprises. Unorganized enterprises in India, the sample we have taken that we discussed in the previous lectures on the sample be restricted to 72,528 observations. Now, in the sector rural and urban, we are going to show you how to code it also. If it is given like 1 and 2, what 1 stands for here and what 2 stands for here. 1 may be for rural and 2 may be for urban. So, we need to clarify it through a labeling. We are going to understand variable labeling as well in this lecture. So, now let me proceed once again to the understanding we did. So, table and tabulate. So, tabulate gives only frequencies, whereas tab or tabulate gives you frequencies along with percentages of their frequency and their cumulative percentages. So, this is clarified. Now, this command will give information about how many observations fall into each category, and also for getting row total or column total with table command, we have to specify it as options like this: table and variable name, then comma, row or column. So, like this. So, you have to go back to the previous command table. Here it automatically comes when I click on my keyboard that page up. If I just click on the page up, it automatically comes. Okay. Then you have to add a command like this, comma, then space, row. You have to type Rowwise or column-wise. Suppose I simply enter with row. Okay, it gives Rowwise total. Suppose I only enter with since it is of one data. So, suppose I enter column wise. Look at this, row and column both, it gives information of the same, because we do not have, we are only taking one variable. If you are taking two variables simultaneously, then we have better clarity. If I just add two variables, okay, once again. So, sector, then also I am adding another variable here, let it be state. Okay. Now, enter, it gives me at the end like this, it gives me information like this. I will show you. This is at the right, at the extreme right here, this side it gives total, this is row wise total, okay, and at the bottom all the states and their total is also coming, that is column wise. So, all the columns so far, since this is the window is not kept within one within the visibility. So, it gives a breaking structure. Okay. And if I instead of that, if I just change state to another variable, let it be round, okay, instead of sector, it gives us the result like this. Okay. So, round 70, since it is of one round, so more information is not there for us. We can clarify from here. There are some other categorical information, if you have, you can get better result out of it. There are sub rounds, let me test with the sub rounds if it gives information. Okay. Now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sub rounds, and on the left hand side you have taken sector. So, now it gives a clear picture, a right hand total and the bottom total. So, row wise total and the column wise total are actually resulted because of that particular command we have given to the Stata. Now, let us come to our further details. Now, in this particular example, one is for rural and two is for urban. Rural total frequency which is shown in the data, we have already shown to you, is okay, by percent by number 35,766, I think that has already come here, and for the rural area, and for urban it is of 36,762. Okay. Okay. So, what we should also understand that in the table command, we are supposed to derive so many tables together, okay, and their frequencies. But if you are interested in through like you want the frequency separately, like to get the frequency of each variable of your interest, you do not need to request it separately. Okay. So, there is a command called tab1, then that will produce separate frequency tables of each of your variables. Suppose we for example, here let me just do one thing here for you, like if I go by tab here, tab command which I did, if I just click on sub round, along with that it gives me cross tabulation. It gives me result like this, it gives me results like this. So, it gives me cross tabulation results, it is not giving the frequencies of each separately. I am interested in sector and sub round and their frequencies only. So, what I will do, I have to enter tab1 command, tab1 tab 1, then you can enter these these things together, sector, then if you enter sub round, you can also get that. All right, sub round here. So, your result will be like this. So, frequency, so it gives the sector frequency as well it gives frequency of sub rounds. All right. That is also important, where the tab command or TA command, by taking together the variable of all together, it does not give frequencies. tab1 command is going to be useful more. More interestingly for the researcher to understand is the two-way table. Often the case we are interested in finding two-way table. How to get the two-way table? One is like let me give you some example for your interest. Like in this enterprise survey, we have information on gender, and we have also information on sector. That is, sector we mean rural and urban. Now, rural how much women represent and urban how much women represent or male represent in the unorganized enterprises can be extracted together from this information. So, that is called two-way tabulation. So, basically on one way you are including sector, on another way you are including your gender. So, that is very much possible. From our previous example, if I operate like this, if I simply say I am just going to clear the data from here, like if I just type clear, okay, I can load previous data also. It has now it has cleared our data from the Stata. Now, you look at the variable window. Now, there is no data, you cannot operate now. Now, I am going to actually load with the live PXP data or the system data, which we discussed in the previous week lectures. ASYS USC system, auto directory, whichever you do, it will give you the data, LIFE live EXP, isn't it? So, if I enter it, now it has loaded the system used data before us. Now, what I do, what I wanted to also check which kind of data it is, let us check. I am going for the data browse. Now, the country is in red color, so it is a string data. As I told you, numeric or mathematical calculation is not possible unless you convert that particular data to numeric number. The blue one is called labeled numeric, and the black one is purely numeric numbers, where we can able to do certain mathematical operations on it. Now, let me close the data, and I have to do this is country. Let me have a table command now, which I did, TABLE table, then region, then country. If it is coded, it will automatically come. It is like this. Okay. So, the frequencies are actually, but if it is table, so it has given information on like this, all table region wise, then country wise. So, cross tab data has been propped up, but if I go by tab 1, TAB1, tab 1 of these two together, this and region, region and country, now it gives the frequency information. All right, but the tabulate together, just tabulate together, that gives a two-way table. But here we are getting the frequency of each if you have entered TAB command together, okay, TAB1 command. Now, cross tabulation is important because we can get the information if there are more relationship. In most of our research papers, we do take the help of cross tabulation, and this is useful to display the common distribution of two variables. And the syntax of this one I have already shown you, that is either you go by table variable 1 and 2, or you go by tab variable 1 and 2. Then the table will usually be easier to read if the variable with the most unique values is listed. Okay. If you are thinking of the two variables as dependent variable and an independent variable, the dependent variable is usually listed first, so that it goes in the rows. Okay, rows likewise this I will tell you, like in our result it goes like this. So, if I first enter, since I first enter sector here, sector then sub round. Now, sector goes to our row, okay, row wise, and on the column we have sub rounds, and sub rounds actually if this is independent variable, then, but in this case this is not independent one. So, in our case, like suppose you are trying to understand the credit taxes of those from the 7th round. If you are interested in trying to find out the credit taxes for male and female, okay, to those unorganized enterprises. So, your credit access is on the is considered to be the dependent variable in this context. So, you first entered credit access as your first variable, and then you entered your gender variable on the second variable, so that it will give you the cross tabulation correctly. Now, let us come to adding options to the tab output we did. By default, Stata only shows percentages for tables with one variable. If you want percentages of another variable, you need to tell it which percentages you want by adding the appropriate options. Okay. Suppose what we have done so far, we only shown you the frequencies through table command or through tabulate command. But now we are going to show you the percentages row wise or column wise. Like I will tell you what we have done in the data. Okay, let me again go back to our 7th round data. So, I have to write or I have to once again clear this data, and I will load the data, the 7th data here. Okay. So, the 7th data is here for us, or even we can also load the ISDS data for our operations, data operation. It is also displayed here. Okay. So, now this is the data I have loaded. So, I am going to just test the data just to check the data whether I am operating correctly or not from the beginning. So, this is the ISDS 2 data, not the 7th round data. Look at there are blue entries as well as black entries, red entries, there are so many information in the result, okay, in the data file. Now, I will operate this for our understanding of those commands for better interpretation. There are so many variables like this, but now one problem in this data here, it requires labeling. I will tell you what do you mean by labeling, and okay, how to do the labeling correctly, and so that it gets easier for us to operate. Now, since the labeling has not been done correctly, I will prefer to open the 7/3 data. Okay. So, when I require labeling of the command, I will open this data once again. So, I have to clear once again this as well, and now I am going to open 7/3 data for you. So, it is here. All right, 7/3 is here for us. We have already filtered that. Now, I am trying to explain sector and and okay, and since these are in categorical number. So, what I do, let me open here like this, tab, okay, tab. I want to explain sector sector with the states. Okay. Suppose I wanted to do that, how it comes, how it is the state wise distribution of the enterprises across location. If it is this, what I will do, I will add a percentage information instead of frequency. I have already shown you state and sector frequencies, but now I am interested to look at or observe the data through their percentages. So, what I will do, I will add, for example, row wise frequency, ROW. Okay. So, enter. So, if I have entered row, it has given me information like this. Look at carefully how it looks. Now, sector is on the left hand and state is on the right hand. So, state is on the column and sector is on the row. Now, basically I am going to look at sector and the left is given. So, I am going to look at the percentage by state. Okay. So, here under the state code 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, likewise other states information are there. All right. And now 1 is the sector, how much percentage of rural enterprises, unorganized enterprises are in state 1. Okay. And state 5 is usually Uttarakhand. So, Uttarakhand, its percentage we have not yet labeled, we can label it, I will show you the command. But Uttarakhand percentage for the unorganized enterprises of women, we have already filtered this data for women. Women percentages is 1.88 out of the total enterprises, and that too in our sample data. Okay. Similarly, if I just reverse this command to, I will take state here, I will take state here, I have to change that, I am just deleting state from there, I will start with state, state here. Okay. All right. Now, entering it. Now, look at how it looks like. Now, state are in the column, look at this, and sector is on the row. All right. So, now in every, basically in every row, if you go by every row, you have different states. All right. For each column represents sector. So, how it looks like? It looks like first state, its total. So, I haven't taken, have I taken percentages? Yes, I have taken percentages. On the fast state, out of the total 100 in the fast state, the percentage of rural is of 51.71, whereas the urban representation is of 48.29. So, the rural percentage is higher. Look at 05 is the code for the state for Uttarakhand, 49.74 is from rural, whereas 50% from the Uttarakhand itself is from urban areas. Okay. So, this is there. I am going to clarify further. Now, by default Stata only shows percentage of tables with one variable, as I already told you. So, we already operated row wise percentages. So, Stata will tell what percentage of each category of variable 1 fall in different categories of variable 2. So, row option with table command gives row total, we have already discussed. Like in our original data, not the filtered one, if I check the proprietorship, we can for the type of ownership, I just check whether it is there or not. Okay. So, type of ownership, all right, let me have a look. Since we have already filtered the data, yes, type of ownership is there. Let me just have a check of the same by taking tab of type of ownership. Okay, I just wanted to check the frequency distribution. Yes, it is there. So, we can find out the result that is available in our PPT. Like if I just go by the result we derive in our displayed result in this PPT, I can show you also. So, what I do, we will actually type TAB tab or only TA, then you click type of ownership first, then you click sector, okay, that is rural and urban. Okay. Now, you add with row and column percentages, ROW row, or if you want column wise percentages, suppose you start with row percentage and you simply enter. It gives you all the type of ownership, proprietary type or joint partnership type. Okay, there are different indicators of 1 to 9 regarding the ownership. So, by it is now classified into rural and urban. So, in our original data, 1 stands for male proprietary, 2 stands for female proprietary, then 3 stands for transgender proprietary, then same household partners if is the owner, then different partner if is the owner, then SSG group as the owner, trustees or the trust or others categories are there, we can find out the results accordingly. All right. Now, let us make a move. I think we already derived that. This is the one we have already displayed to you. So, let me proceed. Now, similarly, we can add, this is what we have shown you, the row wise percentage, basically out of the total row, what is their individual percentages. Okay. So, row wise if it is 100%, so 100% is shown here, out of the 100% how much representation they have. If I simply change it to column wise, suppose like this, if I simply change this to column, simply change this to column, column wise percentages, you just mark the differences carefully. Now, instead of the row total, now here it is not 100, it is by column total, that is 100. Out of 100 here, what is their individual share? Individual share in rural area. Now, rural total is coming here, okay, rural total or urban total is coming here. So, now if I just give a command, another command here, like instead row and column both. Now, I am adding another one called row and column both. Okay. So, now look at this, it gives both the information. It gives information of row as well as column. Now, row wise total you can mark it from 100 here. The first one is mark is from 100, the second one is out of 100. So, 48.8 48.25 and 51.75 are added to 200. So, second one is actually by Rowwise. The first one is of the frequencies, and the last one is column wise. If you add these, then this, and this, it will add it to okay, the required percentages we have. I think there are other okay here. All right. Now, let me add it to total how okay here 83.25, 11.88, then 0.01, 1.57, 1.23, 1.27, 0.58 and 0.22. This has to be added up to this 100. Okay. So, we can in a single command we can derive row wise as well as column wise percentage, and for our better interpretation. All right. Now, if you are interested only in not in frequencies, it gives a confusing figures also, like it is now giving frequencies, first entry is frequency, then row wise percentage, then column wise percentage. If you are only interested in percentages, okay, percentages, you simply add NOFR. I will come to the cell right now, like NOFR stands for no frequencies, okay. You only want percentages. So, let me come back to the command like this. What I did, instead of row column, what I do, I have to specify NOFR. Okay. So, NOFR gives me, I have added NOFR, there is no frequency, frequency table is not there. Similarly, for column or row also, suppose row wise you have entered NOFR. NOFR is, if you have entered, it only gives you the percentages. All right, no frequency is given. You can simply copy this and then you copy the result to Word file, and you need not edit much, and that will be very helpful for you for answer. Now, I have already clarified row wise and column wise. Another important part is called cell percentage at any particular cell and its percentage total. What is the the percentages of that particular cell, okay, not by row, not by column, out of column total and out of row total. Now, we are seeing out of the total and how much it contains, okay, that is out of the gross total, how much percentage the particular cell contains. So, basically we need to specify the cell information here, like NOFR I already did, okay, NOFR here. Instead of that, only what I do here, I will delete row wise or column wise, I will only add CELL cell. All right. Now, this has given me the individual cell and its percentages to the total 100. Now, individual 100 or row wise 100 and column wise 100 is not there, and this is also important for the researchers for their use. So, this actually tell us what percentage of each combination of variable 1 and or variable 2 is of the total sample. So, NOFR I have already clarified, NOFR avoids the frequencies. If you want to see only percentage, then add NOFR, that we told you. Similarly, no label, if you do not want to add the label in the command, then no label can be added, like labels are attached labels. If you do not go by label, I will tell you label, what do you mean by label, you can operate later. By default, tab shows value labels for any variable that has them. If you need to see the actual values and add the no label option, then you can go for it. Similarly, missing, to check the number of observation with missing values, you can also go that. So, missing information we have already guided in the previous lecture. So, through the code book you can also track the missing, okay. From the summarize also you can get the missing information. All right. So, there are many other aspect to it. Let us proceed, you can operate. One tip for you is here that in case of two-way table, one of the convenient tool is tab2 option, that produces all possible two-way tabulations of the variables specified in the variable list with options first only, display cross tabulation of first variable with other variables, that is through row and column. So, tab 2 similarly tab 1 I told you, similarly you can go through tab 2 variable list, you will also get those details correctly. Okay. So, with this I think I will stop here, we will continue other details regarding variable labeling in our next class. Okay. Thank you.